Your Excellency, I'll kick it off with you. We now see hyperscale AI data centers in the kingdom, sovereign AI models in the kingdom as well. You have Qualcomm's chips, you have Cisco's manufacturing. Tell me how these technology partnerships ultimately came to be, and what is the end goal here when you look at what Saudi Arabia is trying to achieve on the AI front?
Thanks, Dan. But since this is the first time I do a panel with Chuck since I left Cisco, I owe the audience to share a story. The story of the first time I ever got to meet His Royal Highness. Remember, Chuck, that was back in 2016.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and we were talking, myself and Chuck, to His Royal Highness, about how Cisco back then was digitizing India, Germany, and then His Royal Highness said, I'm here to talk about Saudi, and how we can make sure that Saudi becomes top 1, top 5, top 10 in everything that we do. And he painted for us a vision that effectively Vision 2030 was about economic diversification and about empowering youth, if you remember, safeguarding the planet and shaping new frontiers. Fast forward, we've achieved 56% economic diversification as a non-oil GDP. And in terms of talent and youth, we've jumped from 150,000 tech force to 406,000. If you put it in the context of Europe, we would be one of the 5th largest tech hubs for the world. And in terms of ranking and recognition, we became number 1 and number 2 consecutively as a digital riser by the World Economic Forum. And on the intelligence age, we couldn't be more proud of great friends and partners like Chuck and Cristiano from Cisco and Qualcomm, where in essence, His Royal Highness once again wants this to be the most remarkable success story in the 21st century in the intelligence age. We powered the digital age, so naturally we're going to go and power the intelligence age. We're building one of the largest training and inference hubs, and already with our key partners, we're achieving 11 cents per a million output-input token. Fast forward with Qualcomm, we want to become the most AI-enabled nation in the world. We've launched Humane Horizon PC, and thank you for that chipset, with the form factor of really pushing a 34B, and that's just the starting point, billion parameter model to enable sovereign use cases. And with Cisco, we just announced a JV with AMD of how we can really push the needle on adoption. Because currently the AI market, if we continue just having the dialogue on the supply side and not with real use cases, and I'll be able to share that with how we're creating new chemistry and achieving a Nobel Prize recently, how we're pushing the boundaries of sickle cell disease and other diseases, and helping Aramco achieve $1 billion of savings. So in essence, this has been a great journey, Chuck and Cristiano. The first time also we met a couple of years ago, and fast forward, we're celebrating here huge wins.
Thanks, Your Excellency. And Chuck, I think that's your cue to come in here as well, because this isn't necessarily new for Cisco as well. You've been in the kingdom for about 25 years. You're manufacturing hardware in Saudi Arabia, securing AI infrastructure alongside Humane as well. So walk me through the footprint and why team up with the kingdom and this guy right here.
Well, first of all, that meeting we had with the Crown Prince resulted in you leaving Cisco, so I didn't see it as all that successful. However, having you in this role has been great, and then you take Haitham from us as well. So, if anybody wants to work in the central government of Saudi in the kingdom, just come to work for us, and then it'll be a pathway. But I think that in today's world, I think this is really important because it starts with trust. And in today's world, that's really important. And we have a high degree of trust of our friends in the kingdom, and I think they have a high degree of trust in us. We've known each other a long time. Actually, Tarek, who is the CEO of Humane, and I have known each other for 13, 14 years as well.
Absolutely.
We've been there a long time. We've been working in the kingdom a long time. And so when the opportunity arose, basically when His Excellency calls me, still haven't figured out how to call you that, but that was pretty good, wasn't it?
Call me Abdullah anytime.
I generally say yes. What was the question? And so it's great. I just know they're always going to be on the leading edge, and they're trying to drive frontier capabilities, and so it makes us better. So when we get the opportunity to engage, it's actually really good for us because we get to be a part of something that's going to be leading edge. I know that to be true. And we also learn things that we can go actually implement with other customers around the world, although we have to wait 6 months, I think. Is that what he said? Something like that. So it's been a great partnership. And then, with folks like Cristiano, who we also partner with, and Lisa from AMD and others, it's going to be a really exciting year. So.
Cristiano, come on in here as well. Qualcomm also making big moves into AI data centers. You have this 200 megawatt deployment with Humane as well. Why choose Saudi Arabia as the launch pad?
Yes, well, that's the easiest question I think of the day. Look, first of all, we have been incredibly inspired by the ambition, I think the vision of Saudi Arabia, and most important, I think, the willingness to look of the innovation roadmap and go exactly where technology is going. A great example of that is, the evolution, how AI is fundamentally going to change the man-machine interface, it's going to change the enterprise, how it's going to change the whole concept of operational systems and applications, how to have the vision to embrace into a very aggressive mission to be the most competitive provider of tokens in the world with the architectures that go beyond the GPU and changes, I think, the paradigm of both compute and memory utilization. So it was just a natural, I think, combination for a company like Qualcomm, which is motivated by innovation, to have a partner that has the confidence to drive this together and have the willingness to bet on technology. I think it's really incredible. And I think we're just at the beginning of a journey. And what's interesting, some of the things we're doing in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, not only with Humane, but also with Aramco, are some of the first in the world. Just as an example, we just had an incredible partnership with Aramco with an AI gateway for industrial. And we're actually now creating a marketplace for industrial use cases with AI. And I think that's going to be probably one of the first in the energy sectors of doing this. And I think that the opportunity, I think, that exists for technology with Humane, we're just at the very beginning of that. I think the transition of experience to be agentic, not only on PCs, but in mobile devices, in automotive, in physical AI with robotics, and actually have it end-to-end, which is a unique thing of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. From the devices at the edge all the way to the cloud, I think it's a great opportunity. So you can probably see my excitement about the opportunities that we have ahead.
Can I just add on to that? I think the other thing that's exciting for us is that we actually gain capabilities by working with the kingdom, working with this team. And so what I mean by that is sometimes he'll reach out to me and say, hey, here's a company you guys should look at and potentially invest in. Thank you. And there's other times where we sit down and say, we need the products to do something slightly differently than what they do today. And so we do actually co-design and co-develop together. So there's a lot of upside for us as well, because we get the real practical knowledge of what they're trying to achieve and what do we need to do in our product set that actually helps them achieve that. And that's a real benefit to us.
Your Excellency, you and I were talking backstage as well. One of the things you told me was when it comes to the end goal here, partnering with these American tech giants is also evidently about lifting up Saudi society. It's for the benefit of Saudi people, right? You're not just building out AI capabilities at a sovereign level inside the kingdom, you're ultimately enhancing people's way of lives, creating economic opportunities as well. Can you speak to that?
Indeed, and this goes back to the message that we have heard from Chuck and Cristiano, that it's all about the adoption. It's all about the use cases and the usefulness of AI. And if we talk about adoption, last year we introduced to the world NanoPalm, how a startup, Dr. Ali Al-Hassan, was able to leverage CRISPR technology with gene editing capability to tackle sickle cell disease by creating these nanorobots with the right parameters to be able to infiltrate effectively the liver, which is a filter, and be able to take out that bad gene. Now he's pivoting and partnering with the US on 2 other diseases. One of them is the real cause of blindness, once again taking out that gene out of the place. Another clear example is creating new chemistry. I mean, you have still 2 billion people without access to clean water solutions. And this is why it takes us great pride to introduce to the world Professor Omar Yagi, the first Saudi American working with our national labs and with UC Berkeley on creating metal organic frameworks, which are effectively sponges to be able to capture water from air and be able to capture carbon. And these are clear examples of how we're shifting the needle for the people, for the planet, but also for profit. Because Chuck mentioned the story that I want to, double down on. Grok was actually introduced to the world 2 years ago on Leap, the largest tech event with 250,000 folks turn up. And when we showcased how we are really solving for the memory wall with memory on the chip, near the chip with Qualcomm as well, and on the side of the chip, fast forward today, it's the largest acquisition made in the AI space with $20 billion. And this is a testimony that under His Royal Highness, that the kingdom is leveraging its energy, its captive market, and its land and its capability to be the largest test bed for innovators and investors with our friends.
Can I also ask our American technology friends here, how much of a role has the Trump administration played in unlocking this opportunity for you as well? Because under the previous administration, under Biden, of course, any type of technology investment into the kingdom probably would have been frowned upon. And of course, there were export restrictions in place as well. To what extent has Trump actually played a key role in ensuring that you're able to do business in the kingdom today? Cristiano, do you want to speak to that first?
Yeah. No, look, absolutely. Maybe I'll take a step back and talk about what made some of the American companies that have been driving the innovation of companies successful. And then and I've been a company that has been really the number one thing that we do is actually try to create technology, create innovation. It actually works because you have American technology for the world. If this was just American technology for the US, the American companies will be subscale and you don't have the ability to drive the innovation roadmap. So this actually technology, using the term diffusion, I think this AI initiative to basically promote, I think, the global export of technology, it's incredibly beneficial. And it's not just beneficial for the American companies. Actually, I think it's beneficial for all of our partners because at the end of the day, we actually have the ability to innovate together. I think what Chuck mentioned, the whole concept of co-development of technology, actually you get the best of innovation on both sides. And I think the drive towards continue to expand the technology footprint has been very, very helpful, I think, for companies in the technology space.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the current administration clearly has a high degree of accessibility for U.S. business, and has a lot of interactions with trusted countries around the world, and a lot with the kingdom. And I think even little things like the visit being scheduled creates a moment where we all work really hard to get to that point. So you actually have enough to announce there, and you do a lot of work. It's sort of like when I meet with a CEO of one of our customers, if we agree our teams are going to do something, we set the date for the follow-up review, and that just gets everybody in motion. And I think having that happen, and then having the support, whether it's David Sachs in the White House or Lutnick, I ran into him a few minutes ago. He's here. And the whole administration just believes in the strategic importance of the partnership with the kingdom, which makes it super easy for us to go fast there.
Mm.
Let me add to this.
Sure.
If you look at the nations that have a 90-year plus alliance and relationship with the U.S. on a bilateral fashion, they're only a handful, and the kingdom is a 93-year-old alliance and partner. The partnership with the U.S. have helped us build our factor-based economy, which helped energize the base economy today and help the world achieve $100 trillion plus of GDP. And it's only natural that we join hands in energizing the intelligent age. And it really, as Chuck have said it, when His Royal Highness and the Honorable President met and discussed this, they felt that diffusion means proliferation and bringing the alliance and partners of the U.S. as part of the U.S. technological AI stack. We announced the framework agreement witnessed by the Honorable President and His Royal Highness. And fast forward, what we have done in the digital age was about $10.6 billion of digital FDI. In just less than 6 months, we were able to do 20 billion. So just show you the time to value and how the kingdom right now is the innovative scaling bed, leveraging the scaling law in how we could push diffusion adoption across oil and gas, healthcare, and multiple industries powered by technological partners like Cisco and Qualcomm.
Yeah, absolutely great point. And I think there's probably two other angles here. The first angle is that decoupling from China, which is something that Trump administration has also been speaking about. The second angle is more Saudi specific as well. And to maybe just follow up on what you were saying before, can Saudi Arabia really have sovereign AI when all of this is built on the American technology stack?
Well, if you look at Stanford and Oxford, they just recently released a report that evaluates nations and their capability to build AI sovereign capability. And the kingdom, by both Oxford and Stanford, ranks number 1 and number 3, which shows you our ability to not only build our sovereign models. I mean, if you think about it, today there are as many Arabic speakers around the world as English speakers. So it doesn't make sense that 90% of the models are trained in one language. And hence we launched to the world LLM, powered by Sedaya and Humane, which today we just signed an agreement with Adobe, bringing LLM as the Arabic LLM of choice to all of their product suites to the world to make sure that these 400 million Arabs are not left behind. Let's remember that leaving folks behind in the AI age is no longer a digital divide, but a dignity divide.
Anyone in the room using Alarm today? Excellent. Okay, a couple of hands there. How do you think it's competing against the likes of Gemini or ChatGPT?
We have done independent studies, and right now we're second to Gemini. But ultimately, if you look at the historical data, whether you're talking about the 90 years of tokens that Aramco has, or as the heart of the Arab and the Muslim world and the granularity, it's not a surprise that today, as an Arabic LLM, it's best in class.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other challenges then, and maybe for Chuck and Cristiano, what do you see, when you look in the Middle East in particular, what do you see as the biggest barrier to expanding your business footprint today? If you could identify anything, what would it be? Chuck?
To be honest, I don't see any meaningful barriers. I think, and I was thinking as you all were talking, the other key thing that I think makes this super successful is His Royal Highness and the level of involvement that he has in this thing. The discussions that we have with him, I mean, they're detailed discussions. And the number of times I've met with him in the last 9 months, I mean, he is in this stuff. And it was so funny when I was at the dinner that President Trump hosted for His Royal Highness. We're going through the receiving line, shaking hands, and our president knows me, says hello and everything, and then His Royal Highness sees me and kind of gives me a really warm handshake and embrace, and he turns to our president and says, "We're doing a lot with him." So I mean, he really is super engaged in it, and I would say that. So I don't really see. I think there's an openness and a desire and an energy in the Middle East in general to work on these issues. I think they see it. I think everyone there sees this as. It's not optional. We have to win. And I think they just see it as particularly as you were talking about diversification of the economy, this is probably the biggest opportunity that's come since that declaration was actually made. This is the biggest opportunity that's arisen to actually help do that. And so I don't have any major issues.
Oh, look, it's a simple answer. Actually, no, here's how I'm going to answer the question. When other nations, come to us and say, I really needed to embrace this technology transformation driven by AI. It's going to be very important for growth. What are the levers that they can activate? Our answer is very simple. Be like the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That's what we say.
Right. So when it comes to future investment plans, as we enter the final phase, I guess, of Vision 2030, how else do you plan on investing into the kingdom and I guess more broadly into the region as well?
So he asked you to ask that question, right?
Yeah.
I think it'll be, in our case, we've talked about, delivering products that are made in Saudi. We talked about working on this joint venture together.
Indeed.
I think we made investments in Kaust to do joint research there.
That's huge.
And so honestly, our investments will be driven by where the kingdom wants us to invest. And we have open dialogue going pretty much all the time about, hey, you guys should really think about doing this over here. The Coust investment came from your recommendation.
Oh, yeah. Under the leadership of Prince Abdulaziz.
That's right. Who I had a great time with.
Indeed,
And,
indeed.
but I think it's one of the top 3 investment areas for us in the world right now. I can say that with a high degree of confidence. And our team is very focused on it. I probably used to travel to the Middle East once every 15 months, and now I'm going at least twice a year.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be back there in April for LEAP.
Thank you.
And so
We're making big announcements.
I know.
And we have Target attending your AI summit as well.
That's right. And Tarek's coming to our AI summit in San Francisco in February, early February. So I think it'll just be guided by what advice or what areas they like to see us invest.
Cristiano?
Yes. I think, given a lot of progress, I think we had decided, I think, just last year, that we're going to establish our regional Middle East headquarters for Qualcomm in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We're actually in the process of opening an R&D center, I think, for chip designs. I think we're very happy with the talent, the partnership we're doing with the universities, the ecosystem of startups that we have some interesting engagements. And I think we're excited about it as the surface area of partnership is very broad. It goes from mobile phones to PCs, I think, to the work that we're doing with Lucid in automotive, to industrial with Aramco, and then data centers. So I expect it to be a significant hub for Qualcomm going forward.
Your Excellency, I'll give you the final word here. You mentioned earlier that I think the total spend is around $40 billion. This is at a kingdom level, $40 billion on AI by 2030. I'm sure that figure will probably go up over time. But
His Royal Highness keeps increasing the numbers on us.
right. So when you look at the ultimate end goal here, what does success look like for Saudi Arabia, not just from these partnerships, but when it comes to creating an AI ecosystem that benefits Saudi people and its economy?
These partners and friends are key. Let me emphasize that. His Royal Highness has a 3-legged strategy, and I just give you the broad layout because he's going to announce it soon. Ultimately, we want to become one of the top 5 global hubs for AI training and inference. Achieving 11 cents per million input token is huge, and this demonstrates that we can really help the industry solve the energy wall. The world is going to need 83 gigawatts worth of energy. The memory wall, with our bet on memory, near the chip and on the chip and next to the chip architectures, and in terms of scaling, the second pillar, which is the most AI-enabled nation in the world. We had the first Nobel Prize in chemistry with AI. We had the first genetic disease addressed by AI, which is a huge breakthrough for the biotech industry. And last but not least, we had the first fully robotics heart transplant done by a Saudi surgeon, powered by AI, where AI can help that surgeon appreciate where to stitch and when to stitch to make sure that patients leave the CCU room in 4 hours rather than 4 weeks. And last but not least, we want to be a sensible and responsible partner. You spoke about Coust. It's the second largest endowment in the world, and we have pledged under the guidance and instructions of His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and under the chairmanship of Prince Abdulaziz, a third of that endowment towards AI safety, and we're very proud of the work that we have done. We're building an AI engineering center out of which we can leverage that talent pool, and once again, a prosperous and a growing the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. When the digital economy in the kingdom grew from 75 billion to 135 billion in less than 9 years, the whole Middle East grew. When our tech force is right now equivalent to the 5th largest tech force in Europe, the number of unicorns in the region grew. And this is a lifelong partnership. So let me wrap up by thanking Chuck and Cristiano for the fantastic job that we have done together under the guidance of His Royal Highness, of how really the kingdom have energized the intelligence age. And we are today, with our partners, your most reliable partner to power up the intelligence age.